Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We are joining, I actually know the day of the week that it is today. It's October 30th, or if you're from Baltimore, it's moving night. I don't know what they call it anywhere else, but October 30th in Baltimore is moving night. And what does that mean to you? That means we're going to move your furniture that's outside. We're going to move your trash cans somewhere else. We're going to do all kinds of mischievous BS for no other reason than we were just horrible teenagers. But speaking of horrible teenagers, we don't have any horrible teenagers with us, but I do have on the screen with me today from the Spirit Realm Network, Spirit Realm Net. I almost said spiritrealmnet.com. That would have been horrible. These are all the things that I'm going to do. But joining us tonight in no particular order, and for one, we'll be very kind to her. We'll talk a little slower. She's from Ohio, and we'll be as kind as we can. I don't even think ghosts haunt Ohio. I think they leave. They're like, we don't even want to be here. But joining us from Ohio, listen. But joining us is our own paranormal. I know you got the supernatural sirens, but maybe like for tonight, we got to come up with a good name, like the bar, like not bar rescue, but like. I don't know, like paranormal bar team. I don't know, like because you have bar league softball and everything, like beer league softball. We got to figure out something, but we'll come up with a name. Everybody else who's out there watching us, come up with a name for us. But we have, and I butcher last names, and I appreciate Nate for not putting one there. So I thank you for that, Nate. So we got Miss Ashley Moreno.
Yeah,
did I get it right? Look at that.
You did.
Welcoming back the leader of the pack for us, our personal investigator, Candi Howard, and with a man with a pretty good beard. He keeps it well trimmed, and I always appreciate a good, well trimmed beard. I went and had mine done today. Is Mr. Nate? It's Howard. Like, what's your last name, Nate? I forgot. Oh, it's Cogar.
That's it. Cogar. Yeah. Cogar. Yeah.
Cogar.
Yep.
Look at that. All right, I know I'm horrible. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good. Fantastic. How are you?
I've been waiting for this all day. I'm extremely excited. Finally, this. Very, very happy about this. For all of you that are already joining us, make sure you give this a like, share, follow us on all the social media, send it to all your yard sale sites. We're going to be getting into it here on some serious, like my man Brian's already there. Brian, we will talk. Brian has one of the best mustaches in the game, though. His mustache is absolutely serious. It's bordering on Mario-esque, like serious.
Oh, that's a good one.
I see it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's got a definite serious mustache, and he knows good liquor. So make sure you're sharing this around for us. We'll get this all going. But real quick, let's get into some things. So we have a sticker for Sticker and a Cause. Where did it go? Holy shit! How did I lose the sticker? See, look. Anybody who knows, anytime I do anything paranormal related, shit starts. I found it. So
say that the house ghost.
I swear to you, I have one. But I have one, I think, that's attached to me and follows me. I have one of those. So joining us for our Sticker and a Cause, go check out the podcast, Friday Night Movie. It's a brother and sister team. They review movies. They talk about best snacks for movies. And they got their own movie coming out. I met these folks down at Baltimore Comic-Con. And the movie they have coming out, I want to see it. Do you remember the old Meatballs movies and summer camp that were so great? So they did a summer camp movie about Jewish summer camp and about how they weren't the outcast kids. They just didn't want to play sports and how they tried to force them. And they've got like legit big time actors and actresses that came out to do cameos in the movie. So we're going to put this up on the big board for Sticker and a Cause. Make sure you're checking out Friday Night Movies, folks. Great group there. As always, though, we got to talk about paying our bills. We got budget blinds of East Greenbush, budget blinds of Hudson and Cooksaki, and budget blinds of Schoharie now. They are America's #1 window treatment company. There's 1,500 budget blinds franchises across the U.S. and Canada. If you are in need, if your blinds are so haunted that they've fallen apart, maybe you had a poltergeist in your home that tore your window treatments down, and now you need new window treatments, or you've got a drapery that's constantly moving on its own, and you need something a little bit heavier to keep it from moving. Make sure you're reaching out to your local budget blinds, or if you're in the capital region, budget blinds of East Greenbush, Hudson, Coxsackie, and Schoharie. If you let them know you're there to belly up to the bar, they're going to give you 15% off your entire order. So make sure you're reaching out to those folks. Budget blinds of East Greenbush and budget blinds of Hudson, Coxsackie, and Schoharie. All right. But all the house cleaning is done. All right. So we all know Candi's story. I could tell Candi's story. She's been on a couple of times. Her, and if you guys see, I forgot to tell you guys, if you see me looking to my left, that's where all my notes are. Forgot to mention that. I keep them all over here. So, we're very well versed with Candi. Her first encounter with a spirit was her great grandfather. She, being involved with different paranormal groups and all those things, but nobody knows Ashley or Nate. So rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, because no one's going to call me a sexist.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
All right, we'll go ladies first.
Oh, then you want to go first? Okay.
Oh,
burn.
I love you.
I know. You got something.
Wow. We'll go right into that. So, all right there, Miss Ashley. Okay, hold on. The 7-year-old wants to say hello. They can't hear you. You know that, right?
Hi.
All right.
How are you?
All right. See you. What? Oh, am I getting a kiss here too? I love you.
It's awesome.
All right. Yep.
You just melted my heart.
All right. So tell us a little bit about you there, Miss Ashley.
Oh gosh. I started getting interested in the paranormal when I was really little. I had someone really close to me pass away, and shortly after they died, I saw them and they talked to me and reassured me that everything was going to be okay. And after that, I kind of dove in, started watching Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures and all those different shows, and then ended up finding my way into a couple of teams and have been doing it ever since. So short, sweet.
Listen, that nothing wrong with that. So you kind of I'm trying to play with this whole moving the things back and forth. This is kind of new for me. So we'll see how this works. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to go to this one. And I like this one also. We're going to go with this one because we can just all be at the same level.
I like it.
This is way easier. Look, all of a sudden Candi got taller when we did that one. She's like, look how tall I am now. So I'm always curious when people tell me that they've gotten into this and they got curious about it. What were some of the reactions that you received from folks that were like, oh, look, Ashley froze one. So what were some of the reactions that you received when you told people it doesn't sound like you had where Candi had a full-blown family history kind of a thing. Yours was more like most of us would be like, hey, I heard something go bump at night. Mm-hmm. Now I'm curious. How do I get to know more? What were some of the reactions you received from folks?
Well, in the beginning, it was kind of, so the person that I ended up losing was my mom. My mom died when I was 7. And when I told my dad about it, that I had seen her the next morning after she passed, it was kind of like oh, that's a trauma response. It's going to be okay, but tell me about it. And, I said what she had said, the things I saw, I described her. And surprisingly, everyone was really well receptive of it. And even when I said, I want to get into the field, I want to investigate, I want to do more, everyone was huge cheerleaders. I never had anybody think I was crazy or anything like that. It was everyone's really gung-ho and like, you know what, you should do it. I think you'd be great at it. And really were #1 fans from the beginning. So it was really nice. I never had the hardships that a lot of people had. I just had a lot of family and friends that were supportive and loved it. And now they're always asking oh, do you have merch? When's the show coming out? When's this? When's that? So it's been really nice and pretty easy on my end.
Well, that's awesome. You and I, Nate, we're kind of the odd men out at this moment, but so how about for you? What was your foray into the paranormal world?
Honestly, it's a lot of the same, like what Ashley was saying. It was more of a family situation. I would go to my father's on the weekend, and I would hear things all the time, like every time I was there, every other weekend. And one day I was home by myself and I could hear somebody walking upstairs, and I thought I was home by myself. So of course I run upstairs to look. Nobody was up there.
Were you watching Cinemax and the screen
The
was
scrambled, the scrambled.
scrambled? You're like, no, someone's here.
Yeah, somebody's actually here. Oh no, no. But then I run up there and nobody was up there. But my uncle had passed away in a car accident. Maybe 20 years before that, when I was just a baby. I met him, but I don't remember him obviously. But like, it was one of those situations where like the way I'm describing the walking, because it was like a cowboy boot with like a spur almost on the back of it. And that's what he would wear a lot of. And
Oh wow!
I that's what I heard. So I explained it to somebody, and they're like, "Well, it kind of sounds like this." But then everybody else had their own stories from the same place. So,
Have you ever gone back to Dad's house and like investigated it?
I want to. They don't own it anymore.
Okay.
Somebody else owns it. We know maybe who they are, and they might at some point. But
That would be interesting, especially since your family's no longer associated with it. To go back and see if the same things were going on or they had experiences there. So then what was the reactions you were getting then? Did you get like, dude, you're a grown man, like act like it? Like, how was it taken?
A little bit. My family they're very skeptical. They don't believe in half of the stuff. So like when I'm showing them different things we've caught here and there, they're like, oh, that's just this, that's just that. I still get that. But they embrace what I'm doing, and they love me for it, and they're gonna, all that stuff.
Now, any of you full-time careers, like this is it, this is what I do? Any of you?
No, I wish.
No, we all have boring adult jobs.
Like that's how. Do you think that I get the podcast all day long? Like I think we all would love to figure out a way. Like, there's got to be a way to turn a nickel out of this. So do you mind telling folks what you do in your, for lack of a better term, in your real life?
Yeah, so in my real life, I am a strategic sourcing specialist for Summa Healthcare, which is one of the biggest hospitals in Northeast Ohio. So I handle all of the contracting, the pricing, and I bring in everything you need for the hospital.
So like logistics?
Yes, pretty much supply chain.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And Candi, you're a nurse, right?
I am. I'm actually a clinical operations manager. So I actually oversee a ton of nurses and clinical staff.
How about you, Nate?
I am a store manager for like a little family-run grocery store that I do all the ordering and stuff like that. Not as much ordering as Ashley does, but
yeah.
Like Nate, you got to tell me now. Any like now it's a family-run small one. Do you get any really? What state are you in?
I'm in New York, near Buffalo.
Oh, you're not far from me. I'm in the capital. I'm outside of Troy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm
not far at all.
So what are you, like in Batavia or something like that?
Lockport.
I know Lockport.
Yeah.
So there's a big. I was on the railroad for years, so there's a big. Lockport's important to the railroad.
That's
a big railroad important area. So that's see, I'm telling you, small world. So now you're all, and as you guys can see, if you're just joining us, make sure you're following all of them. You can find them on social media. You can check them out. Supernatural Sirens on spiritrealm.net. Check them out over there. And spiritrealm.net, I tell people about it all the time. I got to tell you, because one of the coolest things to me is the fixed cameras, cameras on locations. Because I feel like I'm the guy who sits there and goes, I don't want to miss this shit. There's going to be some shit that goes any minute, and can sit there for 4 hours. Like my wife being like, "What are you watching?" Look, I think it was like a speck of dust. It wasn't nothing. And I think it was something. I'm definitely that guy. But so how do we, there's so many people out there that think, well, my house is haunted, or I lived in a haunted spot, or this one talked to me. There's a lot of out there in this world. How are you, and the three of you sounds like you had different experiences to get to this point. How are you helping people to determine what is really going bump at night and what is you need to call the HVAC guy to drain your pipes because you have air in the lines? How are we figuring out one from the other?
It's kind of difficult. There's a lot more that goes into it, especially when Candi and I first met. We talked about doing residentials, and residentials are a little bit harder because people do live in the house. And you have your typical creaks, your noises, your house settling, and those are some of the first questions. Is like, did you check the ice maker? Does it happen repeatedly every single night at the same time? But then you also have to ask the hard questions. You have to ask, is there any substance abuse in the house? Is there any type of mental disorders that are going on in the house? Because that can also have an effect. And
What would the substance abuse like? Tell me about that.
well, because drugs, alcohol, if you're mixing narcotics with something else, it can
Oh,
have
okay.
you hallucinating, hearing things, things of that nature. So we always have to take the simple questions along with the more difficult questions. And you can kind of filter it out from there once you've kind of, I don't know, exhausted all avenues that, okay, the person, I don't want to say mentally sound because that sounds terrible, but once you know that they're mentally sound, they're for refrigerators, not from, the 40s or whatever, you can kind of start
Not
to
rat
narrow it
infested on the backside,
Yeah. Yeah.
The little
Knocking in the
thing.
walls can be rodents. And I mean, Candi can talk on it too. Those are some of the questions we would just have
Mhm.
to ask. And people, once they started thinking about it and really evaluating themselves, they'd be like, oh, after a few drinks is when I do hear the noise. Or
Yeah.
I mean, as silly as it sounds, we've had that happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Listen, I hear noises too after a couple of them. So I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. So there is a process. Then it's not just like somebody calls up and they're like, I got ghosts. I need the Ghostbusters. Like it's not like that simple. It's like, okay, let's run through it.
Mhm.
For you, Candi, as you're getting into these investigations, is there anything that you're like, and anybody else can answer this also, but and I think I may have asked you this before, but is there anything from an investigative standpoint for you where you draw the line, like not going there, not doing that?
I have honestly, I mean, I haven't really come across anything. There's a point where with certain clients, you you kind of have to just back off because you know that they're really, and Ashley knows in particular which one I'm talking about.
Oh, I know.
When there a woman,
Where
was there a
you,
woman? It was a woman, wasn't it?
yeah, you know that they're faking it. You know that it's mental illness that's causing them to act out this way, and they just won't take no for an answer. That there's nothing really going on, and really you're just feeding the delusion at that point. So you're not helping, you're actually hurting them, and you just have to, okay, you know what, I just gotta back off. um but as far as anything being maybe too dark or anything like that
Yeah.
to deal with, no, I'm kind of a bulldog. I just run into whatever.
Now
Yeah.
you that kind of brings up a thought there though, with some of these things and that are going on. We've all seen the shows, like Ashley was mentioning. There was the guys who were plumbers, but also,
Mhm.
daytime they were the Mario Brothers, nighttime, they were the Ghostbusters. There was that show. There's the one with the guy who's way too handsome to be chasing ghosts. What's that one? Um, it's like the three of them. It's like he's always
Ghost
like,
Adventures.
yeah, it's at Ghost Adventures where he always is like he looks like what's the guy Chris that does all the escape stuff and
Oh,
magic.
Chris Angel.
Chris
Like
Angel, yeah.
he's like the Chris Angel of like ghost investigations. He's always like, we're heading into Eastern State Penitentiary.
That's
Will
really
one of us make it out? We're gonna have to find out. Like that guy, like he's
Yeah,
ridiculous to me.
yeah.
yeah.
But
That was a great impression though, by
That
the
was
way. Like, that was
perfect. Spot
fantastic.
on.
thank you. But with some of these shows, anytime you watch them, you always end up with a situation where it's like, oh, did you feel that? Oh my God, somebody just hit me. And it's like, bro, like there's 35 cameras in this room. Nothing picked up anything. And I'm supposed to believe that one camera where the guy, like you can see the guy got like shake it, like let me jiggle the camera here for a moment. Oh, that was it. Like how can people, or how do you guys even approach it? Has you ever, in general, like how does that let me roll back because I've had so many thoughts on this. How does that affect what you're doing with Supernatural Sirens and the other shows that are on spiritrealm.net? How does things like that affect, or how do you help to weed that BS out?
So one of the things I like to tell people is like, I want to find something that I could show to somebody who's not a believer and be like, explain this. Show me how we fake this and stuff like that. Like you mentioned earlier, the dust and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I see that, I'm not impressed myself. I'm not impressed by it. It might be something, absolutely. But like I show somebody like you or somebody that's not a believer, they're gonna be like, it's dust, it's a bug. I'm like, all right, so give me something audibly, give me something like something walking across the screen on video. That's the kind of stuff, we want as investigators. I would hope everybody wants to have something. Look at this, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
What is that?
To go with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think as our team, which our episode that drops tomorrow, there's actually bits and pieces of it. We call ourselves out. So I don't think we could fake things even if we really tried. I mean, I know
what do you mean?
Like in a situation, it won't give too much away, but I was, leaning against a door and I moved forward and then back. And it made a really loud noise, and you hear everyone gasp and go, "Oh my God." And you hear me go, no, that was me. I made that noise.
My bad.
Yeah. Or you'll hear a bump from the other room and you'll hear Candi go, "Sorry, that was me." So we're always calling each other out and calling ourselves out too. So that, if you are watching, you're not going to say, oh, what was that noise? Did you hear that voice? It just kind of makes us more authentic, knowing that if we do it, we're not going to try to play it off like some other things do.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. Like sometimes you hear these voices like, oh, we've had the recorder playing for the last 2 hours. Let's play this back. And it's like, do you hear that? You can hear that. Call 1-800-CARS-1010. Like what, man? Like,
Yeah.
why are you putting an ad in the middle? Like, that's what it feels like to me with some of these. Now, going into that though, I mean, there's plenty. Who's humming? One of you is humming. Either if one of you is not humming,
it's probably Candi's dogs.
It's probably my dog snoring.
Okay.
One of the dogs snoring.
It sounds like a dog.
I was like,
I bet you it's one of my dogs snoring.
We should have said, "Oh, it was the EVP."
That's what I was about to say. Like, son of a bitch that got inside of my thing here. But now with some of these different things that you're experiencing, that you're dealing with, and all this, what are some of the things that you've caught that during your investigation, especially since you said there's a new episode dropping tomorrow of Supernatural Sirens? How perfect that you're here and then it's dropping tomorrow.
It's actually our series premiere. It's our very first one.
Oh, sucky now. Now, with these kind of things, what are some of the things that you've caught? And I would love to hear if there was something on Supernatural Sirens, but something that you've caught where you're like, no one's going to buy this yet. Like, this is just too much.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's not on the Sirens, but I was kind of guest filming with another team, and it was at a location called Greenville in Pennsylvania that I don't think is any longer. It's not there anymore.
Okay.
And it was a beautiful Victorian, and it had a lot of stairs going up. And I was walking up the stairs and was physically shoved. I mean, I fell up like 3 stairs, and Candi was at the top. And then where I was shoved, there was a door that was open. And as I fell, the door slammed in my face as well. And I just sat on the stairs and I was cracking up laughing. And I'm like, nobody is going to believe me. Nobody's going to believe me. And they're just going to say, oh, you fell up the stairs or you tripped. But I literally was shoved. It was what, Candi, 3 or 4 stairs up. And then the door slammed. And I was still feet from the door. So it wasn't me that hit it. And there was nobody in that room. So it was just a funny thing where like, nobody's going to believe this. And we never really put it on anything.
No, because the door came and slammed literally behind me. Like the doorknob hit me in the butt, slammed hard behind me. And like, she got pushed up the stairs. It was
hysterical.
It was like,
what was the significance of this place? So
it was at one point, it was a funeral home. And there were actually, prior to that, I forget what the history was prior to that now, but there were 3 or 5 bodies that were buried under the pavement.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I know we've been to so many places. It's hard.
Yeah.
I know it used to be a funeral home, and it was actually located next to I forget what they're called, but they actually make the stones, the headstones.
Yes.
And it used to be used as viewing. I think there were like weddings there. I forget exactly what the history was. But we always, there was several haunted objects there as well.
Yeah.
So Candi and I would always go in and we would try. And if nothing was happening, we'd be like, oh, I guess you guys are boring tonight. And I made a comment, and I think it was like 20 minutes later, they were like, oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're boring, huh? Yeah.
Well, right now, Candy's dog is the most entertaining thing.
Oh, it's one of my little Frenchies that's like sound asleep and snoring.
Like every so often, I hear this. Ooh, you're scaring me. Ooh, I'm gonna get you. Like that. That's all I keep hearing. And Nate, and folks, look, just like Nate and Brian throwing out questions. If you have questions, you have a situation where you're curious about how to address it. Maybe, hey, how do I investigate this on my own, or how to find Spirit Realm Network? Please drop a question in there. We'll definitely get to it. Nate says, Ashley, you and I got the same chanting in Ohio. I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah. So Nate and I actually investigated at Madison, and we caught the same thing at 2 different two different locations in the building at 2 different times. And it sounded exactly the same. So we caught it on 2 different pieces of equipment too. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's scary. And then Brian says, I have done some investigations. They're scared of his beard, of his mustache. They stay away. It's actually got superpowers. It's a supernatural mustache. We all need a good one. He's got the best in the biz. I've gotten some picks and EVPs. I believe we are all playing with demons. If I was touched or pushed, would never go back again. That would change my life. Look, Brian, I was thinking the same exact thing. Like, you'd have pushed me, there wouldn't have been no sitting down going, ha, 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 ha.
Oh, that wasn't even the worst.
Like you wouldn't have been able to get my feet wouldn't have touched the floor. I'd have been moving so quick. And Brian also says, come to Texas. Let's do the Hill House in Mineral Wells.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So you can make some connections with Brian. He also on TikTok. Brian, remind me what it is. It's Brian's Bourbon Reviews is Brian's deal.
Okay.
He says, I don't believe they can touch you. When they do, I'm out. So, and that's an interesting thing. Like, what are some misconceptions that you would say that Hollywood has either precipitated, and then in your experiences, you're like, from our experiences and the people in our network and the people that we've met, this is really just a load of BS that Hollywood precipitates to everyone.
Not
Honestly,
everything's a demon.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that makes good sense. Like, my grandfather has visited my mother. I know that for a fact. I've seen him. I believe that there's been times that my own father has come back and seen me. I don't think they're demons. I don't think they've escaped from hell and they're like, son, come save us. Like, none of that shit. But what else would you say is out there?
So you watch all the movies, like say The Conjuring and all those kind of like, haunted movies and stuff. Things aren't like that. They're not happening. Like, you're not seeing doors flying open all the time. Like, they make it look like you watch an hour and a half movie and all these things are happening. We can go to a place and nothing happens in the night. So it's not always going to be like that. It's one thing we tell people, like, if we're doing tours and stuff, we can't turn on the switch and make this stuff happen. So, like, don't go into it expecting anything. Have an open mind for sure, but it's not always just going to happen. So, but I think if you watch movies all the time, you're going to think you're going to go to a place that's going to be crazy,
Right. Like, the minute I walk in the door, like, all of a sudden blood's just going to start running down the walls. Like, oh, you guys made blood for me today. Appreciate you guys.
Well, and I think people, because it's something that people don't understand, they automatically think it's scary. But we have to remember too that, them scratching or pushing or or whatever is, they're just trying to communicate or get our attention. So were they really trying to push me up the stairs, or were they just reaching out and it came across too hard? Or, I think people need to take a step back and think, maybe they were trying to just touch you, but they scratched you. Or maybe they were just trying to, tug on your shirt and they pulled you hard. They're still learning how to kind of manipulate that realm as well.
It's like the movie Ghost. They're just trying to figure it out.
Kind of, yeah.
My Aunt Eileen said she had her dad visit her when she was 14.
Mhm.
And then Brian says, no, when you die, I feel like your spirit goes to heaven or hell, not roaming around. The Lord doesn't promise us the ability to haunt, which is interesting. So then, and basing on that idea, and I kind of feel the same way, like you're supposed to go one direction or the other, whatever the case may be. How is it, or is there any evidence, or do we know? Is there any investigation? Is there like some ancient text wrapped in human flesh that, tells us, like, how do people get stuck?
So let me ask you a question.
Please.
Who says that when you die and cross over or go to heaven, that you can't come back to visit? People see Jesus, people hear Jesus. How do you know it's just a traveling? It's just travel.
So my beliefs, because a lot of this is purely belief based here, is I always say there's only one, once you die, you go one way or the other. And I've only ever heard of one guy that came back and he said it wasn't too bad when you got there.
Yeah.
So that, I always loved it.
And two, you have to look at it this way. So if you look at the Christian faith, that's a pretty young religion in the pantheon of religions. So it's a monotheistic faith that's pretty young. So if you look back on other ones, it talks about how the spirit is multifaceted and it's not a single thing. It's not that you are, you only go to one place or another. You transcend to a different realm of existence dependent upon, what you've done. It's not that, you are just, doomed to wander, but you can choose an aspect or an echo of your spirit could be here, but it's not all that you are.
I heard one the other day that was one of the most fascinating. I can't think of the guy's name. He's online. He's a black dude that, like, he's the one that always talks about, like, that the reason you say amen is because of Amen Ron. That's where amen comes from. And he gets into all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but he was like, there's a theory. And obviously most of these things are theories that we're never going to know until we, kick the bucket and all those things. But that when you die, that veil at that point, you're able to move through it and you move to the next parallel world, that next in the world of Marvel multiverse. And you are now able to enter that next body and you become part of that. And that's why somebody might look familiar to you that you've never met, or a situation feels like deja vu that you've never experienced. That's because the other you has experienced these things and gotten into these things. Nate, I'm going to say this question is for you. There's a lot of stories from my mom's old house. It was built in the 1800s. Crazy.
That's my father.
This guy named Gary seems to have
yeah. Hi, Dad.
Just popped up there. So, so as we're into this, how are you preparing? Like what's your prep? Like, we've had the guys from Unearthing the Supernatural on. They approach from a very Native American. Spirits are, where you're like, it could be just Aunt Fran who just didn't make it across all the way. She can't find her sewing needles and then she can go back. But, they approach things from a very like, these are earth spirits. They are demons. We must prepare. You got to do all kinds of ritual stuff. Is there anything that you do that, and listen, Candi, I know that you're like, I'm gonna just run headfirst into all this shit. But I mean, are we at least putting a crucifix on, a bottle of holy water in the pocket? Do any of you have something you do?
Yes.
What is
Mhm.
Yes.
Don't hold me in suspense here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have very, specific kind of a ritual that I guess you'd call it that I go through to um, prepare myself before I go into any place.
Can you tell us what
Um,
it is?
Sure. I go through and I have specific shampoo that's actually made for my hair. It's made on one of the reservations that is sage and sweetgrass and smoke cedar that I wash my
It
hair in.
smells great. It sounds like it would smell
Yeah,
amazing.
it does. But I wash my hair in that. It's just part of my like ritual cleansing. I have specific prayers that I do before I, go into an investigation, kind of ground myself and make sure that, I'm connected to, my spirit guides and, the creator and things like that. I have specific crystals that I carry with me. So, and talismans. So, yeah.
Getting an "I love you" from a little person. Sorry.
Oh, that's so cute. I love it.
Don't encourage any of this because he's a giant ham sandwich that wants to just be part of everything. Oh, I love you too, ham sandwich. Oh, look at this. Like he's such a goober. How about you, Nate or Ashley? You got any like personal rituals like you got to prepare for? Like you're listening to Iron Maiden. What's the album? Sympathy? No, what was Iron Maiden? It wasn't Shout Out the Devil. That was Motley Crue. What was the
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
I
talking
can't
about.
think. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's because the only thing that's coming to mind is Shout at the Devil.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not it.
it was the first Iron Maiden album. It was Devil something. But go ahead. Either way, I've completely ruined what I was trying to get into. So, but do either one of you have like a ritual? And Ashley, if I could right now, I'd so wake your dog. Now they're chewing on something squeaky.
Oh, that's my dog now.
That's Nate.
Listen, normally it's the ghosts during these shows that come after me. Now it's the animals.
Mhm.
What is going on here? So what about for you guys?
Yeah, so my ritual, I was born and raised Catholic. So one of the things I like to do is I like to go out into the yard or somewhere outside of the property and just kind of take a moment, just sit in the grass, kind of center myself, ground myself. I say a prayer, and then I do ask my guides, hey, we're walking into something maybe we're not so aware of, and we do try to go in very lighthearted, but sometimes if you're an asshole in life, you're going to be an asshole in the spirit. So I just always ask them, I'm like, can you just stay with me, protect us, protect the group, make sure nothing crazy happens, and just have a little conversation. And then I end it with another prayer and then go right in.
And it was Number of the Beast.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
How about you, Nate? What you got?
I do a little bit of that. I just kind of sit, ground myself, and like clear my mind for the most part. And one of the things is I'm not super religious. I've never really been religious, so I don't do a lot. But I will, like, if Ashley says something, I'll listen to her. Like, you got to trust the people you're with. So if she's saying you should be doing this, we do it. Like, for instance, we didn't film any of this, but like when we walked out of the Monroe house, she told me to turn around, walk out the door backwards. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but she's telling me to do it. I'm going to do it. So
what's that about?
Yeah.
Why are we walking out the door backwards?
Ashley? Oh, did she freeze?
She froze.
She froze.
There's
she froze with a smile on her face,
right,
looking very happy and everything. So, maybe you can tell me with this. So, why are we walking out of doors backwards, there, Ashley?
So one of my things is when somebody's going to attack you, they're never going to attack you from the front. They're going to attack you from the back. So I learned from someone who is an incredible medium, and they're like, listen, when something wants to attach to you or something wants to physically attack you, they're going to wait until your guard's down. They're going to do it from behind, just like, a robber, a murder, whatever. They're always going to try to sneak up on you. So if you face them and you walk out backwards, they're going to be like, oh, and now it's probably all in my head, but it works.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm.
So now going back here to some comments, and you guys are gonna have to tell me what the heck this even is. Brian said he bought a die the
Divic.
okay. That does not look like it's spelled Dybbuk, but we'll go with it. Dybbuk box off of eBay and open it at my fire station. Bad idea. First off, tell me what it is, and then you can tell me if it's a bad idea.
So you wasted your money. Because
Ooh.
somebody just ripped you off. You did not buy a demon in a box. I'm sorry. Because people are selling those constantly and trying to take advantage of people. So
Is
a
that what that
Dybbuk,
is? Like somebody says they've trapped like a demon inside of a box.
correct. And a Dybbuk is a legitimate thing. Oh yeah, no, it's a great prank. I think it's fantastic.
Listen, you
It's a
just scared
great
the shit out of me, Brian. I promise you. I'd have been like, I'm the
yeah.
guy who'd have been like, bro, we're not playing this game. Real or not,
Like
we're not playing this game. Yeah,
it
like have no
freaks
doubt
a
about
lot of people out, and it scams a lot of people.
it. Yeah, like,
But yeah, the whole Dybbuk box thing, after Zach Bagans went through and bought the Dybbuk box, and put it in the museum down in Vegas.
oh, is that I don't know what that is.
So there was oh yeah, no, $28. Yeah, that's not bad.
Brian, you got a cheap hooker of a ghost. You didn't even get like a good demon. You
Yeah.
got like a real like nymph, like real cheesy, like failed out of demon school, like
Failed at
didn't
the
make it through the
demon
first
school.
couple of days. Was like you got like a demon was like, listen, guys, I can go ahead and haunt this space for you. What do you need? You got that demon, bro.
Oh, that was great.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get the good one, bro. So what is this like? Put it in a museum? What now?
Yeah, so the box that Zach Baghands bought was supposedly, killed people. The demon in this box killed people, gave someone else a stroke, and had went through multiple people. It was bought and sold. And it was a wine cabinet that was, I believe, a Holocaust survivors wine cabinet that she had trapped a demon in. Yeah, I mean, Granny knew her stuff apparently. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She trapped a demon in this box, and then it was sold at a yard sale to an antique dealer. Mm-hmm.
Oh, such a great movie plot. I love it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's perfect, right?
You know what it sounds like? I don't know if any of you are big readers, but Anne Rice, Servant of the Bone.
Yes, it does. Sounds
like absolutely sounds like Anne Rice, Servant of the Bone, like trapped inside the bones, passed from person to person, can't get out of it, all those kind of things. Yeah. So
yeah, and it's I think hasn't it come out like several different times that the whole thing was a hoax, and but yeah, he has it in his museum down in Vegas, and
I'm going to Vegas in February, so I have to look into that.
Yeah, it's his museum is in Old Vegas.
I actually like Old Vegas. We're staying at the Venetian, but I actually like Old Vegas.
Yeah, I love Old Vegas. It's nice, but if you go, you'll see the Dybbuk box. But yeah, it's supposedly the most haunted object in the world, and
see now, just see. I would think like if you said the most haunted object in the world, I would think like the Shroud of Turin would be way more haunted than that.
Yeah.
Like would you? So that's like, and we're getting close to closing the bar here, folks, and I want to talk about the Spirit Realm Network. And look, if you're just joining us, make sure you're giving us a like, share, follow, all those things. If you want to check out what Nate, Candi, and Ashley have going on tomorrow, is the premiere for Supernatural Sirens, and you look kind of like a siren, Nate. So I appreciate that you're on that. You got your sassy pants on and everything. It's got its good Scully. And we're going to talk about that, but that's kind of a curiosity. When we think about haunted items, typically, in Hollywood again, we associate that something evil has attached to it, or you had the shows like the Friday the 13th TV series that was kind of about that. There was another one I used to like. I can't remember. It was Warehouse 13, which was great. I don't know if anybody ever watched that. Warehouse 13 was awesome. I love that show. And you had shows like this that kind of associated that, hey, if these items have anything, they're haunted. But just as I think about it, as we're talking here, wouldn't religious artifacts be considered as haunted items? Like, am I crazy?
Nope.
I mean that makes sense, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Candi, there's an audio version of this. No one can hear your head shake. This is a video side to it. There's an audio side that goes out tomorrow. You have to verbalize it. No one will hear your head shake.
But it absolutely is true. And that's not frightening. That's comforting. So it's just a matter of perspective, right?
That's it. And and Nate's the only one with any fans. Nate, who's Laura?
That's my stepmom.
That's your stepmom. Okay. Mm-hmm. Have any of you ever encountered any smells when you were investigating? I have smelled cigarette smoke in my house when no one was there or had been smoking, but my first husband and son have both passed and both were smokers. There's always the thing about if you smell roses, that Mother Mary has cleansed the space. Have you ever heard that one?
Oh yeah.
So there's that one. How about for any of you? Now, Nate, have you ever smelled what Mom is talking about?
Not at their place, but I've definitely smelled stuff like cigar smoke. There's a one you smell a lot, actually, or different perfumes and stuff like that nobody else has. Phantom smells, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like you definitely, I've encountered it a lot.
Is that an explainable thing though? Like it's like to me, I can't imagine how you could explain a phantom smell. But is that something where somebody's like, oh no, like items, even for 40 years is holding cigarettes? I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to explain because, obviously, like I've smelled cigar in like a cigar room at like a mansion and stuff like that, but like nobody smoked in the building in probably like 50, 60 years. So like there's no way. And the smell things like that are like, it's like right in your face type. Like somebody just kind of was doing it right in front of you. Yeah.
Or you literally walk into it and walk out of it.
And it's only in a concentrated area. Yeah. Like you can smell right here and then you can smell right here and it's two different smells.
No, we got to leave. We got to leave it there.
Yeah.
Listen,
but it could just be residual.
Listen, let me tell you from a guy who spent a large portion of his life in the city with the brothers. We all hung out. We leave. We don't hang out. We don't hang out at this point. Like there's got to be a point, and Candi's told me this before. Like, nope, I just hang out. I'm just gonna stick out. Like, there's got to be a point for all of you where you're like, I'm tapping. Like I gotta go. Like Ashley, I'm telling you, if I got pushed up a flight of steps, you couldn't have got like this interview would have never happened because I'd have been like, you ain't get me to do none of this shit again. I played in the wrong sandbox. What is Nate? Do you have something?
So the only time I've ever left a place, it was me and my buddy Tom, and we were with our friend Christy, who's a medium, and something was going on outside the building. And Christy's like, no, I think we need to get in the car and leave. So when the medium's telling you to get in the car and leave, I get in the car and leave. Like she knows what she's talking about. So we're not sticking around.
Yeah. She's got the 411 a little faster.
Yeah.
And Vince says Candi's hardcore. And listen, Kat, I used five Super Bowls. When I was a kid, we didn't have a team in Baltimore. I used to enjoy watching the Bills. Nothing like seeing Don BB fall on his head or, watching Thurman Thomas run. Number 34 was always a beast. But y'all are you guys got the new Ben Roethlisberger in my book, but that's about the extent of it. You guys getting rid of Diggs was crazy to me. Absolute insanity. But we're not talking football. So let's talk about spiritrealm.net. listen, folks, check out spiritrealm.net. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. I've looked at it. I always end up pulling it up. Now, the last time Candi was on, I haven't been on in a little bit. So let me get back on here. Spirit Realm Network. Because I haven't been on in a little bit because you guys just revamped the whole website and everything, right?
We did, yes.
So let's take a oh shit. Look at this. Like it comes up, all kinds of fancy. Listen, folks, the Spirit Realm live cams are the best. Like that is where it's at. Brian says, in my ghost hunting stack, Candi, Nate, me, and then Ashley. That's how we're going in. Look, and he's gonna bring good bourbon with him during this, like a bottle of rare. Listen, Edgar Allan Poe. What do you think of that one? Like putting the bottle of liquor on Poe's grave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you ever leave offerings?
Oh yeah,
we have. Yes, many. We do it. We try to do it. At most locations, if it's welcome, just out of respect, just like thank you for welcoming us into your home, into your space, and this is all out of respect. We're not here to be rude or make you leave. So it just kind of makes things a little easier and makes things go a little more smoothly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the new graphics, and I agree with Vince. The new graphics are amazing right now. And Gary, look, the Titans. The best thing the Titans have had is now on my Ravens.
Yeah, I'm a Titans fan. If you didn't,
listen, man, when they were part of the AFC North, that was a way better rivalry for the longest time with the Ravens than the Ravens and the Steelers ever were. See, look, frozen screens, and I lost you guys from it. I told you this shit was going to happen.
That's weird.
It's for no reason. There's no reason for it. Tom and I are laughing because Nate knows. And then Brian says, I know you guys are about to wrap up. You guys rock, and he wishes you all the best. But let's talk about Spirit Realm for a second. So you've got the homepage, you got the live cams, which I think, again, are so awesome. So where are all the live cams at?
So right now we have Beatty Mansion. We have Wildwood. Trying to think now, where and all are they hooked up? We've moved stuff around now.
Isn't Rock Island
YMCA? And there's another one too. And we're actually working on a couple more that we're getting ready to put up. So,
and then you've got the Spirit Realm TV.
Mm-hmm.
Something's live right now. When I clicked on it, it said live. It's two girls doing it. Is it mostly like? Is this like Nate? Is this like a female heavy industry?
Not surprisingly. It's just starting to really come around. It used to just be male dominated. I'm sure you guys know exactly that. Like,
Yep.
But like it's starting. There's a huge shift all of a sudden, which is fantastic because it's different perspectives and different things and different ideas. It's because you gotta think the first look at all the mainstream TV shows at the moment. Ghost Adventures, 3 guys. Yeah. Ghost Hunters, that started, it was mainly guys. So well,
this one I'm trying to figure out. It's like a blonde hair. It's 3 girls, blonde hair. Is this one of you guys? I can't tell if this is one of you. It doesn't look like any of you.
Mm-mm.
I'm horrible. It's 3 girls.
We shouldn't have anything live.
Yeah, we don't have anything live yet.
Yeah, it says Spirit Realm Live, one watching, which is me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3 women doing an investigation.
Oh, that's probably one of the older live investigations on Spirit Realm TV because
Yep, it says Spirit Realm TV at the top.
Yeah. So every time that there's a live investigation, you can go back 24 hours a day and watch those. So.
And Nate, I'm telling you, Nate was like, "You're a draw today, man. Look at you." You're like,
I got a big fan base apparently.
Yeah.
You are the rose among us thorns today. Great show. Very proud of my son from another mother. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. And then over here, Tom travels the world is over here.
Don't let Tom point. He's a siren too. Tom's our director and one of our editors.
So he's fangirling. And Nikki says she can't wait to see tomorrow's show. But correct me if I'm wrong, but Spirit Realm is also completely free.
Completely free. Yes.
So if somebody's interested, they can just log on, check it out,
Yep.
see what the deal is.
Yeah, so we have live stream shows, we have live stream series, we have tarot reads that are live that people can participate in. Everything is free, and then we have our on-demand shows. We also have new stuff that's coming out that hasn't been released yet, and everything is always free.
So
No
what's
subscriptions, no nothing.
Nope. There's
Now, the most important
podcasts that
thing
are
is-
going to be on there.
Well, the most important thing that's coming on is Supernatural Sirens. We know that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing that matters. Nate, you need one that's supernatural warlocks. And just a bunch of dudes meatheading through.
That's what I'm thinking.
Just pure meatheading through though. Like it's gotta be like an entire team of basic bros
Mhm.
with
Just dudes with beards.
with IPAs, fedora hats on, cargo shorts, and like walking through and being like, dude, there's nothing to this, as they all get sucked into like closets and shit like that. Like I'm still watching that. It should look like it should be like the show Blue Mountain. What was it? The Blue Mountain Football or whatever it was.
Blue Mountain State.
Blue Mountain State. It should be like Blue Mountain State, but of paranormal investigations. How great would that be?
That'd be funny. You'd be funny. Well, it's the three girls, and me and Tom are behind cameras, so you'll see us every once in a while. But it's the Sirens. It's the three girls and me and Tom, and we're there every once in a while. You'll see us. So,
well, that's a great question, though. I mean, so behind the camera, how do you know what to record and not stay on them and be like follow what they're saying? How do you know when to kind of like?
So we definitely have a 2-camera system either way. So if one person's going to move, one of us can follow them. So we're not stationary. We can go wherever we want to go, wherever we're being pulled to. So that's nice.
Now, this is for Candi because she knows I always get the name of this wrong. The SB project or whatever that shit's called.
The
SB project.
The Estes.
Estes.
Yep, that one too. Now, that one to me, and if you don't know what the Estes process is, you're blindfolded, you can't hear shit, everything, and somebody else is asking questions to the whatever entity is in the space that you believe could be there, and then the person holding that's stuck that can't hear is supposed to just like if they hear something in their ear, just say it. Just spit it out, because for whatever the reasoning is, you can still hear that because it's almost like a white noise situation.
Correct.
What are your thoughts as we're getting close to ending this? What are your thoughts on people that just want to try that? Yeah, or no?
Oh,
yeah, definitely try it.
mm-hmm.
Just make sure that you have someone there that you trust. That understands how you are, that knows you, and if you start to freak out, anything like that, they can pull you out, because it can be overwhelming because you're kind of in a sensory deprivation.
Okay.
And you have this white noise feed coming in, and you're really just in a sensory deprivation.
Yeah, it's meant to kind of almost meant to kind of put you, I don't want to say a weak spot, but it takes all your senses away and it puts you in a more vulnerable spot. So you're able to hear things, see things, feel things a little bit on a more sensitive level than if you're sitting there and you're trying to watch and hear. And with the white noise, you're going to hear things and we don't know what questions are being asked or what people in other rooms are saying. So when you're getting responses from the person that's under, it's a little more exciting because we're like, oh, okay, like this is making sense. Or you can have a conversation with a so-called spirit because that person has no idea what you're asking.
And do you need any stimulants to get that process started?
No. So I will say Candi and I, we like to do, we call it a double Estes, where we both go under and we have one or two people ask questions to see if we kind of coincide with answers and things like that. And I've never
told me this, Candi.
So there's typically Ashley and
Menage
I will
Estes. Tell me
be,
more.
yeah, Ashley and I will be, we might be in the same room, we might be in different rooms, but we will be under Estes at the same time. To see
That'd be like
if,
ecstasy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm
Just to
sorry.
see, if we get,
Get it?
if we get the same responses, if we get different responses.
Does it happen?
Oh
It
yeah,
does.
like it's really interesting
Oh,
how it
Nate
all
has some. Nate
plays
has
out.
something he really wants to say.
I just want to say, cheap plug. If you want to see that in action, watch the episode tomorrow night because that's a big
Oh, is that-
part of that. Yes.
And now, because as
The
we're getting ready to
exact
close all this
situation.
up, what time tomorrow does that go live? Is it at midnight tonight? It'll pop up. What's the deal?
Nate,
8 p.m. on the Spirit Realm Network.
So at 8 p.m. on the Spirit Realm Network, if I log in, it'll be there. Is there any way on there for me to set like a reminder? Like the system will tell me anything like that?
Yep. So if you go to spiritrealm.net,
All right, I'm on here.
yep, you can go on there. There should be a way to look and see. If it's not on there yet, you can go to the Supernatural Sirens page on Facebook.
Okay.
And we actually have set up a reminder on there. We have an event. Click going or interested, and you will get a reminder for 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow that the premiere drops, and you get to watch the brand new episode.
That is so awesome. Look, folks, if you're interested and you want to know more about paranormal, make sure you're going onto that Facebook page and checking out Supernatural Sirens on the Facebook page. You can also check them out on spiritrealm.net. You can see them there. You can see the still cameras over there. Tom was very busy. He could not make it with us. He had to edit everything and prepare it. I'm blowing you up a little bit, Tom. That's there for you. But
I just got married over the weekend too. So
well, congratulations. Now you are truly haunted. So good luck with that. That's a whole different spirit realm you just entered. Now he's like, I got married too. You're late, man.
Careful, she's on here.
We already said it. Look, that's probably why all my gear started messing up. I know how this works. And this is my actual brother. I love you too. This is my actual brother. Dude, we should do the Estes method with you. He's blind. I'd love to see how that worked out for him. Like he's actually blind. So like if he did that method, like how that would affect him, that would be fun. We could do this.
That'd be really interesting.
That would be super interesting.
I'd be really interested in that.
Because he's already without one of those senses. So to see how that all affected him, that would be very, very interesting. Kat, you got married too? I bet you I know who your husband is. I just got an idea.
Yeah.
I got a shot in the dark here we're going to go with. So any other upcoming things besides the show? Anything where people could see you, how they could follow you if they wanted to see what you had going on? I know each of you has kind of your personalities on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to say what that is.
Ashley, you want to start? I think you tagged everything in the post.
I did.
I did. Yeah, he got it all. So yeah, if you want, I've been posting a lot of the supernatural stuff on my TikTok, which is just ashley.moreno4. That is also my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the fun stuff. I've kind of just turned it into my overload of supernatural stuff. So
yeah. Yeah, and all of mine, it's Candi Howard on Facebook. And then for my Twitter, my Insta, and my TikTok, it's Candi_Rexicon, but it's tagged, so it'll be much easier to find that way than try to spell it. So
same. Just look. I'm Nate Cogar on Facebook, and all my stuff should be linked to my Facebook. So if you want to follow me anywhere else, nice and easy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, look, I always love this. I always love the paranormal stuff. I have such a great time with this. And see that, Ashley, I didn't harass Ohio too much.
I am proud of you.
I'm very kind. It's a whole thing for me for 20 years in the Marine Corps with Ohio. Look, sidebar, complete story. I used to tell kids when they went to boot camp, I promise you the most cock diesel kid in your entire platoon will be from Ohio. and he won't be able to tie his shoes without Velcro. And they would be like, and they would come back to me and they'd be like, Gunny or Staffs or whatever my rank was at the time. And they'd be like, we had this kid named Jones Smith, Ozakowski, whatever the heck his name was, some big long Polish name. And they'd be like, Gunny, this dude could pick up the entire building. When he smiled, his heart slowed down. It was too much activity for his brain all at once.
So
Like-
because you said that, I want to tell you my maiden name,
Oh, please, what is it?
Fran Yeshevich.
Knew it. Knew it. God. How did
It's Fran Jezovic, but that's the real way that you say it. But you know what, though? Ohio people, we just have big attitudes. That's all. We have big hearts, but we have big attitudes. And Nate's shaking his head. He knows.
Look, you guys had the most presidents after Virginia. You guys had like the most presidents there for a while, I think. Something like that came out of Ohio. Like you guys were doing good for yourself.
Ohio's great.
And then the steel mill shut down and the whole Rust Belt thing. That was a whole nother end to it. But look, folks, if you're finding us through the sirens here, or you're finding the sirens through us, please take a moment, like, share, follow. I know it sounds cliche. Going onto our Facebook pages and doing that, following us on Instagram, subscribing to the YouTube, as cliche as it sounds, and I know we have kids or grandkids. You've heard it all before. Like, share, follow, like all those things. Take the moment, do it for us. Get how these messages get out. It's how we all get better. It's how we all get bigger. It's that important to us. It really, truly does matter. Now, next week's show. We got to talk about next week's show. Let me pull up my guest here for a minute so I can do this properly. We have Jess Ark. Jess is depth in her dyslexia and her committed to. I sound like I have dyslexia as I'm reading. Committed to supporting individuals with learning challenges. Her insight, experience, and tips can bring immense value. She's written some books. She's done some training on this. So we're going to learn about working with people with neurodivergent learning abilities and how they can actually learn so much about people with dyslexia. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, yes, the numbers are backwards and the letters are backwards for them, but they also have the ability to reason things in a way that the typical person doesn't reason. And it's actually pretty impressive. Look at this. Big bad Polish, afraid of a tiny.
I'm not Polish.
That sounds more like a Guinea last name to me. Like,
I'm Croatian, so.
Oh my god, that's one of the places I do want to go. I want to go to Croatia, and the food.
Beautiful beaches.
And I hear the food is absolutely outstanding. See, that's a whole nother show. But so as we do in every episode, and I know you guys have went and binged as much of this as you possibly can, all 200 and some episodes, fully immersed in all these things. Oh, hold on, my brother's got something to say. My ex-boyfriend had it, and it's a lot more difficult than you think. It's very hard to deal with, especially when the person doesn't know they have it. Yes. Well, my wife, some of my sons, I'm with you there, brother. So, all right, real quick here. So, as we do on every single episode, the guest always gets the final word. Now, there's 3 of you. You can do rock, paper, scissors. We can do this. Here, well, Nate, you go first, and then they can do rock, paper, scissors. What's your final word?
So, I mean, if you're interested in the paranormal, you don't need any fancy gear or anything like that. The best tools you could have are your eyes and your ears. Pay attention to your surroundings and just watch everything. You don't need all the fancy equipment.
Oh, make sure you guys don't log off after this. We got to talk for a minute. Okay. All right, Ashley and Candy, rock, paper, scissors.
Okay,
rock,
ready?
Paper, scissors, shoot. What do you got? You got scissors. What do you got? Scissors. Let's do it again.
I've done this a couple of times. Let me pass it to Ashley because she hasn't had the last word.
Well, actually, then we'll make Ashley have the last word. So you go now, then, Candy.
Okay.
The last word.
All right. Make sure that you log on tomorrow night to spiritrealm.net and watch the premiere Supernatural Sirens.
Ashley, what's the final word?
I'm going to piggyback off of Nate. And, if you think you're hearing something, seeing something, trust it. Trust your intuition. Trust your abilities. Everybody is a sensitive in some way, shape, or form. You just have to acknowledge it.
Alrighty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.